Have you ever found yourself dreaming of selling your home for top dollar?
Oh, absolutely. Everyone wants that.
But then you immediately hit that mental wall, right? Thinking about the cost, the sheer chaos of a full renovation.
Yeah, it's daunting. The idea of tearing things apart.
It is. It feels overwhelming. But what if boosting your home's value, its appeal, could actually be simpler and, far more affordable than you think?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Or maybe the not-so-million-dollar question if we do it right.
Exactly. So today we're doing a deep dive into precisely that. We're looking at some really practical insights from a great blog post.
Okay.
It's called Sell Your Home, Smart Upgrades, Big Returns. It's by Don Karstedt at Rethinking Real Estate out of Lake Tapps, Washington.
Rethinking real estate. Good stuff.
Yeah, and this isn't about those huge gut remodels. It's all about smart, really impactful changes, focusing on maximizing your return.
Right. So our mission today really is to give you a shortcut. A way to understand which home updates actually bring back the big returns. We're focusing on what local experts like Don Karstedt are seeing work right now, in places like Lake Tapps, Pierce County. But honestly, these insights apply pretty much anywhere.
Yeah.
We'll look at those easy, high-impact changes, things that make a home feel, fresher, more modern, and ultimately just more valuable to buyers. It's about working smarter, not harder, to get that top dollar.
Okay, let's unpack this then. Don Karstedt, he emphasizes you absolutely don't need a full remodel to make your home appealing or even to boost its final sale price. That kind of flies in the face of what so many of us assume, doesn't it?
It really does. People often think bigger project equals bigger value.
Right. So why is that perception that you need this huge renovation so strong? And what's the biggest, maybe, mindset shift sellers need to make here?
Well, that's a crucial question. I think people equate big spending with big returns almost automatically.
Yeah.
The narrative is often, you have to sink tens of thousands into a house just to get it market ready. But what's fascinating here, and what Don's insights really challenge, is the focus on targeted updates, smart updates.
Okay.
The shift is realizing buyer perception often matters more than the actual cost sunk into it. You concentrate on areas buyers care most about. Kitchens, bathrooms, flooring.
Big ones.
Exactly, because that's where you see the best return on investment, both time and money. It's about creating that aha moment, that feeling of freshness, functionality in those key spaces, not necessarily a full gut job.
And the numbers, they really back this up. The source, the blog post, points out these kitchen and bath updates often recoup 80% or more at resale.
Wow, 80% or more, that's significant.
It's huge, according to national averages, too. But, when you talk to homeowners, even the idea of minor renovations can still feel big.
Intimidating.
Yeah. What's the biggest hurdle you see people face, maybe psychologically, when they think about these supposedly easy updates? And how does that 80% figure help?
That's a fantastic point. It's like renovation fatigue before they even start. What Don Karstedt is highlighting, and what we see all the time, is that these aren't about ripping things out. It's about strategic cosmetic changes.
Okay.
So the psychological shift is moving from major overhaul thinking to smart refresh.
Smart refresh. I like that.
And the fact that these updates often recoup 80% or more. For work that, like the article says, is affordable and easy to knock out in a weekend or two, that totally redefines the effort to reward ratio.
Yeah, it makes it seem much more doable.
It tells you these targeted updates act like a money multiplier. You put $1 in, you get, on average, 80 cents or more back directly in your pocket at sale. It's not just spending. It's a really strategic investment that boosts value.
Okay, so let's move from the philosophy, the why, to the what. Let's get down to brass tacks.
Yeah.
What does this look like in those specific high-impact indoor spaces?
Right.
Let's start with the heart of the home, the kitchen. The blog post offers some, honestly, surprisingly simple fixes that can make an old kitchen feel brand new without replacing a single cabinet box.
Yeah, this is where small changes pack a big punch.
Okay, so we're talking things like updating cabinet hardware. Think sleek black, brushed nickel, or even gold. Don actually specifies those trending colors.
Those finishes are very popular right now.
Also, painting or refacing the cabinets.
Yeah.
Sticking to soft whites or maybe warm grays, nice and neutral, appeals to more buyers.
Always a safe bet, those neutrals.
Adding a backsplash, even a peel and stick option, which is super easy, adds style, protects the wall.
Just an upgrade.
And don't forget swapping out old, maybe dated light fixtures for something clean and modern.
Oh, lighting is huge. It really is incredible how those small changes, when you add them up, transform a space. When you update the hardware, the lighting, it really does make old cabinets feel new again. The whole kitchen just feels updated. And you haven't had the expense or the mess of a full tear out.
Right. Buyers walk in, they get that immediate sense of freshness, modernity.
Exactly. You're leveraging small, visible improvements to create a much grander overall impression.
Okay, from the kitchen, let's pivot. Another high-impact zone buyers always look at, the bathrooms.
Yes, critical area.
Dawn offers some equally achievable refreshes here, too. Think about replacing old faucets, shower heads. Quick, affordable upgrade.
Definitely. Shiny new fixtures make a big difference.
Regrouting or maybe recaulking around tiles makes them look cleaner and newer. It's a small detail, but it impacts that perceived cleanliness.
Hugely. Nobody wants to see grimy grout. It just feels neglected.
And just like the kitchen, swapping out the mirror and the lighting, that can completely change the vibe, make it feel more contemporary.
Absolutely. A modern mirror, maybe something with clean lines paired with bright, clean lighting. It changes the whole feel of the bathroom.
Yeah.
It instantly elevates it, makes it feel maybe more spa-like, more contemporary. That's a big draw for buyers. They want move-in ready, aesthetically pleasing.
Turnkey.
Exactly. These are those strategic impacts. They create that sense of turnkey luxury, but without the luxury price tag attached.
Beyond the kitchen and bath, Don Karstedt's deep dive also talks about general living areas, bedrooms too. And he highlights the #1 bang for your buck upgrade. Any guesses?
Got to be paint, right?
You got it. Repainting with neutral tones.
Always.
It covers a multitude of sins, as they say. Instantly brightens, modernizes any room, makes it feel larger, more inviting.
Totally agree. Fresh coat of neutral paint is magic.
Also, considering refinishing floors or replacing worn carpet.
Flooring is huge, huge impact.
And here's a really small one, but it makes a difference. Updating door handles and switch plates.
You know, it's funny you mention those. They're the kind of details buyers often don't consciously notice until they're missing. Or, you know, when they're really dated.
Right, like those old yellowed plastic ones.
Exactly. When everything from the doorknobs to the switch plates feels fresh and new, it creates this cohesive, well-maintained impression. It's like a subtle message from the house saying, hey, I'm loved, I'm taken care of. I actually saw a listing once, mostly updated home, but it had the original, 1970s switch plates. Big brown plastic things.
Oh, no.
It instantly made the whole room feel dated, even with fresh paint. And flooring, like you said, that has a huge impact on how move-in ready a home feels. Worn out carpets, buyers immediately start calculating replacement costs in their head. That affects their offer.
Okay, now here's where it gets really interesting, I think. The outside of your home, that first impression, it absolutely matters.
Oh, immensely.
You know that feeling? You drive up to a house and it doesn't feel right from the curb. Buyers feel that too. Don's article has some quick wins here that can totally change that initial reaction.
Absolutely. The source even notes if buyers aren't wowed when they pull up, they might not even walk in.
Wow.
Curb appeal isn't just about pretty flowers, though those help. It's about signaling care. It's inviting them inside. It sets the expectation for everything else.
Makes sense.
Imagine driving up to two houses, right? One's got an unkempt yard, maybe a faded front door. The other, vibrant flowers, freshly painted door, clear walkways. Which one are you more excited to see inside?
The second one, definitely.
That first impression, it's everything.
So what are these quick curb appeal wins then?
Yeah.
The article suggests painting the front door, maybe a bold color. Charcoal, navy, forest green are mentioned. Something to make the entrance pop.
Nice. A statement door.
Adding planters or fresh flowers. Instantly signals care, right? Life.
Color and life.
Replacing old, dated house numbers. The mailbox, too. Little things that modernize the look.
Easy fixes. Big impact.
A simple pressure wash, driveway, walkways. Makes everything look cleaner, brighter, like washing years off the exterior.
So satisfying, too, pressure washing.
Yeah, it is. And finally, adding path lighting. Even inexpensive solar lights. Creates a warm, welcoming feel, especially for evening showings. Makes it feel safer, more inviting.
Those details, they might seem small on their own, but add them up. They absolutely set the tone. They boost that perceived value.
How so?
Well, they communicate that the homeowner pays attention to detail. And that subtly reassures buyers about the condition of the rest of the house, the stuff they can't see immediately. It's an easy way to make a strong, positive first impression without, major landscaping overhauls. Just focusing on those direct visual cues.
Okay, we've covered the visible transformations. paint, hardware, curb appeal. But what about the, let's call it the invisible magic?
Ooh, intriguing.
Don Karstedt highlights two crucial steps, often overlooked, cost very little, but deliver massive returns.
Okay, I'm listening.
Professional level cleaning and smart staging. These are critical for that final push.
Ah, yes. The finishing touches, but essential ones.
First, deep clean, everything. And the source really emphasizes professional level clean.
Not just a quick wipe down.
No, this means washing windows inside and out, thoroughly cleaning baseboards, doors, even fan blades.
Things people forget.
Steam cleaning carpets, mopping floors. Essential. And, crucially, eliminating any pet or cooking odors.
Oh, big one. Odors are killers.
Oh. Major turnoffs. And they're incredibly hard for a buyer to ignore, even if they like the house otherwise. Don't forget closets, storage spaces too. Tidy them up. Buyers will open them.
Yeah.
They need to look organized, spacious, not like they're about to explode.
Absolutely. Grime, dust, odors, they turn buyers off fast, even if they can't quite put their finger on what feels off.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine walking into a beautiful home, looks great, but there's that faint, lingering smell of, I don't know, last night's fish dinner. Or a grimy baseboard catches your eye in the corner. Suddenly, that whole perfect illusion just shatters.
Yeah.
A truly clean home feels cared for, it feels newer, and it makes it so much easier for a buyer to actually picture themselves living there without distraction. This alone can make your home show better, sell faster. It directly impacts the final sale price. It's really non-negotiable if you want top dollar.
And then there's staging. You're not just selling a house, right? You're helping buyers imagine living there.
Selling the lifestyle.
Exactly. That's where smart staging comes in. The core idea, according to the source, is keep it simple. Create an aspirational canvas.
Less is more, often.
Right. Start by decluttering, depersonalizing. Pack up the personal photos, the family heirlooms, maybe the extra decor that's your taste, but maybe not everyone's. You want the buyer to see their future, not your past.
Good point. Make it a blank slate for their imagination.
Rearrange furniture. Create open walkways, maybe some cozy sitting areas. Use natural light. Mirrors strategically placed can make rooms feel bigger, brighter.
Let the light in.
And finally, add just a few thoughtful finishing touches, like a bowl of fresh lemons on the kitchen counter, a neatly folded throw blanket on the sofa, fresh, fluffy towels in the bathroom. Small details that make it feel warm, lived in, but still neutral and appealing.
And Don Karstedt, in the source, highlights a very specific point about staging, too. Don't forget your entryway.
Ah, the first step inside.
Exactly. That first step truly sets the mood. If it feels cluttered or dark, it can immediately create a negative impression. Doesn't matter how great the rest of the house is. It's the gateway to the whole viewing experience. It's where a buyer forms that initial emotional connection. A clean, inviting entryway makes them feel like, okay, maybe I could live here. Like they're already home.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay, so our deep dive's final thought, pulling from Don Karstedt, really brings it all together. It's about focusing on what truly adds value, whether you're selling right now or just thinking about it down the line.
Yeah, it's not just about the immediate transaction.
It's about smart home ownership, really.
Right. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, it's incredibly smart to think long-term, even if you're not selling immediately.
How so?
Well, for example, Don and Susie Karstedt, they mentioned they're actually in the middle of a major bathroom remodel in their own home right now.
Oh, interesting. Practicing what they preach.
Exactly. But not because they're selling tomorrow. It's because improvements like that can increase a home's cost basis.
Okay, what does that mean practically?
Practically, it could reduce their taxable capital gains someday when they eventually do sell.
Ah, so it's a long-term financial strategy too.
Precisely. It's an investment in the future value of their property. Almost like a little internal accounting trick that pays off way down the line. It shows these strategies aren't just for listing day. They're part of smart wealth building through real estate.
That's fascinating. And if you're curious about their personal project, they're actually sharing the progress day by day over on Instagram. It's at Rethinking Real Estate.
Oh, cool. So you can see it happening in real time.
Yeah, a great way to see these principles in action. So what does this all mean for you listening?
Yeah, the takeaway.
The big message from Don Karstedt's deep dive seems clear. You don't have to remodel your entire home to get top dollar. Often, it really is those small, targeted updates. Fresh paint, new lighting, simple landscaping. Those things make the biggest impact. It's about being smart, being strategic with your efforts, recognizing that perceived value often comes from those thoughtful details.
Absolutely. And these aren't just, theoretical ideas floating out there. These are practical, actionable insights. They're drawn from what's actually working for sellers right now.
Especially maybe for folks in the Lake Tapps area, Western Washington, where the source is based.
Right. That local expertise is valuable, but really these apply to anyone, anywhere who's looking to enhance their home's appeal and its value. It's about leveraging those small changes for big returns, making your home feel instantly move-in ready and well-loved.
So here's a final thought for you to consider. Knowing that these small strategic updates can have such a big impact, what's one simple change you could make? In your own space, maybe this week. Something that might completely shift its feel, even if you're not planning to sell anytime soon.
Good question.
Think about it. That fresh paint, a new light fixture, maybe just a really, really deep clean. What's your one thing?
Food for thought.
Indeed. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, keep exploring.